All right, so another strange signal. You got 400 signs for that, and now we have other things here. So there's a little chonker. Kerbadyne has commissioned us to design and test rockets for their new Husky collection. It's time to bring out your artistic side and make a big ol' engineering marvel. You'll need to design their smallest model. Okay, so land a vessel on MINMUS with a current mass of over 200 tons. That doesn't sound like a little. That doesn't sound like a little guy. I don't know if my current craft is over 200 tons. I guess we'll find out. And then geostationary orbit. We just need to use a vehicle with a probe core, orbit Kerbin with an altitude of 2863 kilometers and an orbital speed of 1010 meters per second. All right, that's very specific. We'll try to do that. And then here's the MINMUS monument one. Find the source of the monument on the surface of MINMUS. We get 750 signs for this, and we obviously want to track that mission. Okay, cool. That's all we're gonna do. Go back over to our tracking station. Here's our crazy rescue craft once again. And now we should see where it is. Okay, this is what I was afraid of. We want to have the flexibility, which is why I've got my Apple apps so far out. We want to have the flexibility to adjust course to get there. And man, it would have been better to come in with polar after all, wouldn't it? That sucks. All right, so way out here, we're going to make an adjustment, and it's going to be an expensive one, unfortunately. I keep wanting to use this for the maneuvers. I want that to happen. Like, I want there to be a maneuver thing here so I don't have to tap this and click this. I miss my mods for that, man. We're going to want to go up a little bit here. And then also retrograde. And with that adjustment, should get us pretty much directly over where we need to be. Now, here's the problem, though. MINMUS does rotate faster than the moon does. And so that is not going to be there for very long. And so at least we're going to have something polar here. And we're just going to have to time it when it comes into range. So it might be better to bring us like totally polar instead. And to just kind of wait for it to be in the area. You know? So I think we'll do that for now. A little bit. Yeah, just a slight inclination like this should be okay. All right, that's what we're gonna line up for. It's gonna cost us another 82. And again, MINMUS does rotate. So you can see that is already gonna be past this. But I think though, if we just, rotate for a while, eventually we're gonna line up either going this way or coming back the other way. We're gonna line up with this thing. And as soon as we do line up with this thing, we'll just take that opportunity. All right, let's burn this now. We don't need to wait. Burn this now. And do it nice and slow. As soon as we're back in orbit again, there we go. And stop. Honestly, I think that's good enough. I don't really think it needs much more than that. Because again, we're going to get in range of this thing, and there's no point in putting, getting more fuel used, right? We're already at 800. So from that point, we're going to go retrograde from here. And then we're going to bring ourselves lower. Okay. And let's try that now. Bring ourselves down a little lower here. 11,000 periaps on the sunny side seems like a good thing. So if I want to see those new textures, right? So bring ourselves around. And of course you can see that it's already moving. So we might even be able to land on it on the way back. It's possible. It's moving pretty fast. So it's like a crater. It's definitely in the center of that crater right there. So we're going to want to get in there and see what it is. I'm digging the music. I don't know if it'll be something that would I sort of like the variety that Kerbal Space Program 1 had. But almost all of that variety was very laid back, very celestial, if you will. Like it was all Kevin MacLeod, you know, relaxation sessions. This here, it's got some energy to it, and it kind of gives me that whole like something important is happening right now vibe. So I kind of like that. And good. Seems fine to me. Okay. So we're in a polar orbit, which we could have had from the get-go before, but it made a judgment call. It's fine. And then around MINMUS here, we can go ahead and just bring this in a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So nice and close. It gives us the maximum chance of being able to meet up with this thing later on. All right, so let's zoom ahead. Watch MINMUS rotate underneath us. I think we're going to be able to meet up. I want to meet up with this thing on the day side. So I'm hoping we go around maybe 2 or 3 more times, and then this thing will end up being over here. And it's over here is where we can go ahead and get there. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it seems like the time just stopped. Like, I want to zoom ahead to the maneuver, and you stopped me 4 minutes before it. Is it because we're too low? It is. Yeah, it's 4 times speed. Okay. My goodness, look at the texturing, though. MINMUS looks good. It looks about as sharp as it did when I modded it with KSP1 when I modded it. It was a really cool texture pack. I think it was included with the mod called Parallax, right? It does some really amazing things to Kerbal Space Program 1. And I think that's kind of what... I don't know if this is based on that idea or... again, I know that these guys hired some of the modders. I hope they hired the guy from Parallax, because he did a great job on it. And you guys, hopefully you guys have done a great job on this video by hitting the like button and subscribing if you haven't. I realize my videos might be showing up in your feed even though you don't subscribe, but you really should subscribe. I'd really like to get to 100K by the end of this coming up year, right? Like end of 2024, I would love to have 100K. I think that's going to be a goal. I mean, we all know subscribers are, like, the number of subscribers you have are really meaningless relative to, you know, viewership and all that. But I still think... Hang on, gotta focus. Done. Okay. I'm satisfied with our current orbit. 756 meters per second remaining. And now I just need to go maximum time warp, which for me at this point is just 4x. Which is kind of a bummer, but you know, you guys don't have to wait around for it. You guys have, you know, video editing. And I guess I probably wouldn't have to wait for it either if I loaded something else. Like if I load a different asset, I'd be able to go faster than this, right? Isn't that how that works? Well, that's how it worked in KSP1. Like if I go to the tracking station right now, am I limited? I'm still limited by that, right? Interesting. What if I load a different craft? Like, let's say I load... Oh, there's the tour. Oh, interesting. The tours are down here. I guess I need to fly a plane or something. That's really far away for a plane. I mean, don't get me wrong. On Earth, we would just fly a plane there, because it'd be way more expensive than sending a rocket. But this is science mode. We don't have things to worry about like that, you know. So this right here in solar orbit, I feel like this is the one I want to hit control on, right? We want to hit control on this. And now I have time warp all over the place. So now what I need to do is go back to the tracking station And since this is my active vessel, I want to say that if I went over to Kerbal MINMUS, focused MINMUS, I would be able to see my target and my ship's location. And I would be able to time warp faster than that now, because this vehicle isn't loaded, right? So I should be able to do this now, as you can see, much faster than having to wait around all day. Now it looks like the next pass is our pass. You know what? We can make the next pass our pass. Maybe we go one more pass. If we make a slight adjustment here, we can have this be our pass. It might be one more. You know what? I'm going to take a risk and say it's one more. Let's go up. Zoom. Oh boy. Well, it wasn't one more. But I want to get there. Yeah, I probably should have... Well, the good news is, I mean, we have the ability to just time warp seemingly forever. So we could do something like this. I really don't want to land on the dark side, though. I'd really like to encounter this thing on the day side. So we could just let this go, you know? And it's going to be this pass right here. So this is the pass we want, and we can just get ourselves to where we're like maybe polar down here. That seems fine, right? And then all we need to do with this focused is say we want to control this one. And so now this is the active vessel, right? And you can see our time warp is now limited again. So then I can go over to my crazy rescue plans, hit control, and I'm back in it right here. We're going to go retrograde, and we're going to land like this in that crater. That's what we're going to try to do. All right. And if we can't get there for some reason, we got ourselves a drone that can do it too. Right? We got ourselves a genuine rover. I think this is going to work because by the time we get there, by the time we get around this crater's moving and we might be right on top of it. This might be too aggressive, but MINMUS is very forgiving. MINMUS is probably the easiest thing, save for maybe Elu or something. MINMUS is probably the easiest thing to land on in the entire game. So this will be no problem. And we have enough Delta V here to really fine tune our landing and hopefully land right next to whatever this is, just like we did on the moon. All right, craft's coming up to its burn point here. 4 minutes to burn. We're still at 4 times time acceleration, but as you can see, that crater, right, it's moving while we approach, and this thing is going to end up dropping us right on top of the marker. This is going to be perfect. So it says it will land here, but in actual fact, we can keep ourselves suspended in the air as long as we want. Until our fuel goes down, but we have enough fuel now to control this. It's 128 meters per second to get us to drop down on there. And I'm ready to, I won't say eyeball it, but I'm ready to get down there and see what we can see on the surface here. So there's Kerbal. Say hi to Kerbal. That's awesome. I love that shot. All right, 30 seconds. Whoa. What is that? MINMUS Monument. That thing looks cool. I think we should land right on top of it, which we pretty much are landing right on top of that thing. It's going to seem pretty cool here in a second. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We're slowing our orbital velocity down, and we are done. go ahead and pull that now. We might have gone a little bit too fast there. No, we're falling. This is going to work. Okay. So once same thing again, surface. Go surface retrograde. Find the direction we're falling, which is right there. Pretty good. We're aiming right for it. I like what I see. But you can see like how slow we're going. Like MINMUS's gravity is really very mild. Let's put it that way. Like it's incredibly forgiving. So we can come down 4 times time acceleration all the way down to... we're actually measuring sea level here. That ground is what we want to see. There we go. All right, so we're going to pull ourselves right up next to that monument, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right. 1,300 meters above the ground. Still very easy to... Oh my gosh. What is this thing? Is that a pit? Oh, something going on with the lighting there. All right, we're going to slow ourselves down. There we go. Just ever so slightly now. Be falling straight down now in a second. There we go. It should start falling pretty much straight down now. There we go. 564 remaining in the tank. And there'll probably be only like, at most, like another 10 DV to fully get us to a safe stop. So we don't need to go all the way to 0 to land. Again, MINMUS is really forgiving, and also the engines have a little bit of a tolerance as well. Now that we're facing straight up, though, we're going to switch this to just actually pointing straight up. And let's go ahead and slow ourselves down to a more forgiving speed. There we go. There's our shadow. You'll love to see it. There we go. We can probably just let this go now, but I'm going to be gentle with it anyway. There we go. All right, keep us pointed straight up, please. There we go. We have landed at the source of the signal, my friends. How freaking cool is that? The source of the signal. All right, again, point straight up, please. So we can run the science. Definitely want to do that. We have good solar coverage right now as well. Oh, hang on. Are you actually running the surface sample while you're attached? Well, I mean, I guess. I don't think that's really going to work, did it? Does that actually work? I guess so. It's a surface sample data. I guess it works. We can transmit some. We can actually transmit 390 out of our 478, so we can totally head and do that too. But I think we're going to take and let's get this off so that we don't have to worry about it tipping us over or anything when we get out of the vessel. So we'll go ahead and get our rover out of here. We're going to control from the probe. And kind of the same deal. We're looking that way. We want to point up. So we're going to hit, I guess, W on this when we decouple. So we're going to go decouple there. And tilt ourselves up. There we go. Perfect. Well, almost perfect. You're going backwards. I don't know why you're doing that. Please don't do that. Please stop doing that. Hit the brakes. Why are you pushing my spacecraft? Stop pushing my spacecraft. Go forward. And I don't get it. This is forward. Oh, right. Sorry. All right. Hang on. Control from the probe core. That's what we need to do. Control from the probe core. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Real quick, switch back to this. Make sure that you are pointing up and you're stable. All right. Looks pretty good. Switch back. All right. Cool. Well, we've done it, and I still don't have good steering capability here. It's very strange. Let's not enable steering in the back wheels. Steering only in the front wheels. Traction control, auto suspension. Like, it's so weird that this stuff is like doing a wheelie right now. So I guess I'll put it on auto suspension and see what it does for me, but I just don't think it's gonna matter much. Like, I really want to turn, and it's not letting me turn. It's very weird how you're doing this. Like, that is not at all. Like, look at the wheels. They're turning left, but you're turning right. Like visually that doesn't work. Oh my god. What is going on here? All right, we definitely want to do front wheel drive here. So if we could hit the damn brakes, please hit the brakes, hit the brakes, brakes. Wow, it doesn't listen. It doesn't do what it was supposed to do. Okay, so I want the back wheels. This wheel. Can we have don't auto adjust steering? I want to, if I say motor not enabled, will that fix it? Like if I only do front wheel drive, it's still, oh, you know what it is? I think it's the reaction wheel. Reaction wheel disabled. I think it's the reaction wheel doing it. I don't think it's these wheels. Hang on. Motor enabled. Motor enabled. Yeah. This wasn't a problem on the moon because moon's gravity. But I think that will probably fix it. Let's make sure that the rover... We're controlling from here, of course. We actually don't need this anymore. The probe core. We don't need that anymore. But the reaction wheel is the thing that we need to stop. So this doesn't have any... Yeah, no control enabled there. I don't want anything to do with that. Torque authority is down to 0. And we're controlling entirely from this. And we should be able to... There we go. Now we're able to control this the way it's supposed to be. Well, almost. We have basically no brakes though. It's still MINMUS. In the end, it's still MINMUS, and apparently that means, oh my god, nothing is what it means. Auto friction control, like turn all this auto shit off. It's all so bad. Auto has never worked in Kerbal Space Program. I don't know why they don't just fix it already. Yeah, look at this. Look at what it's doing. What are you doing? Go back the other way. All right, if I go forward now, that should kick the back end down. Okay. I think we've done everything we need to do here. Run the experiments. Please. Hit the brakes. Stay where you are. Donate you to a community college. Okay. I spent way too much time on that. Let's get out with Kerbals. Valentina, you didn't get a chance to step on the moon, so you should be the one that can step on MINMUS instead. So you'll be the first Kerbal on MINMUS. I think you're also the brave explorer that's going to see what the heck is up over here before anyone else. So let's go check this out and see what the heck we're dealing with over here. Huh? What are you? I mean, apparently we're like the brother, like we're like the little sisters, right? Look at this thing. Worship us. It's like a Kerbal god statue right here. What is this? It's very cool. I do wish it was facing the sun, but it's still pretty cool. We've landed. I just wish he was facing into the light. But, you know, at some point in the year, right? There's at some point in the year, this will face into the light. That's how it goes, right? All right, well, that's that. We'll take some science here, I guess. Make sure we get our surface sample from this area. There you go, Val. All right. And then we could do an observation, I suppose, too. I think we probably just did. Surface sample. Did we do the observation? We should do the observation if we haven't already. Because this is we should be observing. The sun is it's kind of setting on this area. All right, we have 694 science, like, pending. And we have been to this destination. And we're going to go back to the ship. And we need to go to mission control, right, before we take off, because there might be something else we need to do in this area. And so we should go to mission control and make sure that we are not forgetting anything, not missing anything that we could complete while we're here. Crazy rescue +3. Slow down so we don't hit our stuff. The Kerbals don't have lights on their heads either. I feel like they should. I feel like the helmets should have little headlamps. You know? That just makes sense. Maybe it makes too much sense. I'm just jabbing at you. God, I'm not really that much of a prick usually in real life, I'm telling you. Not usually. All right, over here. And let's go ahead and grab and board. Cool. That gets us everything we need right there. So we can start. I don't have any sunlight. I don't have any sun exposure. So let's go to mission control. We'll hit this and see if there's anything else that it wants to give us here. Another successful mission in the record books. And what a monument you've found. The figure looks like a little like a Kerbal, but what's with the squid mouth? And repeating the same thing, yes. And repeating the same thing. Okay. I think this mission is bugged. Very good. Science. It said the same thing 4 times. Cool. Are there fuel stations? Orbit Kerbin with an X264 Methalox fuel tank and a docking port. Okay, so it wants to start setting up refueling stations. Beautiful. Low orbit, dockable fuel tanks. Very good. I like all these. This is great. Duna Monument. Find the source of the mysterious signal in Duna. Now we're going to Duna. Okay, so there's nothing else left to do here is essentially what I'm getting at. There's nothing else left to do on this crazy Rescue Plus craft. So we can now take off. We're going to leave our rover here. Although, I mean, I honestly would love to get this to be in the sunlight. But I think if we just extend this, eventually the sun will come back, right? And when it does, this will have sun exposure and it will be able to... It has 78% stellar exposure. It apparently has EC right now. Are you getting it, like, the reflection off of the ground? Is that it? All right, it must not consider the shade, which is weird because it totally considers the shade when I'm in orbit. All right, we want to go to a retrograde orbit is fine. We just don't want to go polar. I guess it really doesn't matter, honestly. We're pretty good. So let's go ahead and drop this tank off right here. Get that off. And then we're just going to, I guess, burn and go that way. We'll go 90 degrees. So goodbye, monument. Goodbye. I bid you adieu. Oh shit, we're gonna hit that. Go up, 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 up. Up, up, and away, please. All right, we're actually leaving MINMUS now, so it's fine. We're already on our way to Kerbin at this point, so yeah, we're fine. Okay, so we only have 293 left, it says. Not a whole lot of Delta V remaining here, to be honest. I'm a little bit about that, but it's okay. We just want to leave MINMUS, and we can do that. And I think we have 293 is enough to get us in the atmosphere. I would think anyway. Let's double check this. If it's not, then we should probably use it to get into orbit instead, or at least a better orbit. So we'd end up leaving here. So we would want to go with the maneuver plan here. If we go retrograde, can it get us into the atmosphere at least? Oh dear. Not really. Maybe. Kerbin, yeah, it will get us in the atmosphere. Wow, that's very close. It's very close, but we can get in the atmosphere. And if we can get in the atmosphere, it means we can go home. Because it means we can get captured by by the atmosphere. That's what it means. All right, so let's zoom ahead here a little bit. And we'll leave MINMUS behind. Goodbye, MINMUS. We're leaving a probe behind so that if there's any surface things we want to do, we have something there to explore. We can also keep a craft that we can load anytime we want to see the monuments. So that's what I'm hoping for. Is I just want to drop a probe at these monuments. All right, it is going to be the most efficient to do this at the apoapsis. So it's the most efficient with fuel to do this if we wait like a week. If we just orbit around here for like a week, then it should be easier to get back home. So we'll burn here. That's 101. And we want to bring this in so that we are in atmosphere, which is right about... No, you're not gonna let me have this? I know, the numbers are super small. I apologize like 100 times. 1,000,000 times. Yeah, I'm sorry, Miss. There was such an opportunity for a Miss Jackson reference there, and I totally blew it. I'm sorry. Winnie, I know you're watching this video, and you're very disappointed to me. I'll find a way to make it up to you, man. All right, so we're just going to line that up. We have plenty of, you know, solar panels and stuff. We can survive because Kerbals don't eat as long as they're in space. And then we zoom ahead. There we go. Yeah, one of our vessels is out of juice, but not the one that matters. There we go. Right, it's 188 meters per second to get us down this way, and we just do it now. So I'm just gonna do it right now. Burn it all the way. Watch my periaps number. And we're just going to chill. And go really slow. And we're at 64,000 meters, which is pretty good. I think that's good enough. We're fine with that. All right. Let's zoom to, let's say, let's go to this point right here. Create a maneuvered plan. Warp to that point. All right, we're here. We'll go to this point instead. Get a little closer there. All right. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a little F5 action. And we want to just reassess our situation really quick. We are, of course, going into the atmosphere. And we're going to end up... we might have to orbit again. I think 64, 63 is not quite enough. If I was to burn a little bit more, though... Get myself a little deeper into the atmosphere. Just a little deeper. I'm thinking like 60... 62 is pretty good. Yeah, I think 62 is fine. It's enough to where we can slow ourselves down comfortably, but probably have to orbit one more time before we finally come home. And I think I'm best with that. I think I'm really comfortable with that idea. So we'll time warp to this part right here, and we'll get ready to enter the atmosphere. There we go. 311. We're coming in real fast. We have tons of electric charge, so let's go ahead and bring our panels in so we don't damage them. All right, there we go. Quick little F5 here just to kind of confirm. And let's warp in a little bit closer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is close enough as far as I'm concerned. We are facing orbital retrograde. We're going to keep that because the engine nozzles, right? We want our engine nozzles to sort of serve as our heat shield here. We might lose batteries. Batteries like to blow up. We might lose these panels on the sides. As long as we don't lose our parachutes, then we're fine. If we lose the parachutes, then I'm going to use this remaining fuel, this 104, that's why I'm keeping it. We use the remaining fuel at whatever apogee we have. We're going to burn prograde to bring ourselves out of the atmosphere so that we don't die. And then we can do another rescue mission to get these guys later. All right, so into the atmosphere we go. All right, and we're going very fast. We're at 3,200 meters per second. This is basically twice orbital, not quite twice, 50% plus orbital velocity, what we would normally have to orbit at this altitude, or near this altitude is, you know, like 2,100, 2,200. So, you know, we're like 50% higher than that right now. Measure this by sea level. You can see apoapsis is coming down pretty fast. If you're not familiar with this concept, we do it, used to do it all the time with our moon landings and stuff. This is called aerobraking, where you let the atmosphere, the resistance of the atmosphere, slow you down. And as a result of slowing you down, your highest peak point up here, it comes down with it. It's very good. I wish I had gone a little deeper. I thought maybe it wasn't quite so safe to go. Like I thought. Oh, well, hang on. Maybe I don't wish. We got some heat problems here. Hang on. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't go deeper. Now, this engine. All right, there's no reason for this engine to get burnt up from this. All right, let's just point this out right now. All right, we're at 69,000 meters. We are almost out of the atmosphere entirely. Don't you dare blow up on me. Because we are out of the atmosphere now. So there's no reason to blow up. We are in space. We're no longer even being affected by that. So, you know, I could have went deeper, you know? I could have. Definitely could have. Let's go ahead and time accelerate to this point. And it's going to whip us way up here. And, oh boy, we are now, once we go around again, we are then going to get another moon encounter, which is going to kick us out into solar orbit. Well, that's no good. We definitely don't want that to happen. So I think we use this fuel that we've got here to bring ourselves in just a wee bit more, shall we? So that we don't get into... I don't want to deal with the moon. The moon is something I definitely don't want to... Yeah, at least we're not going to go solar now. At least we're good and not going solar. But it's possible. I don't think it'll happen, though. Because honestly, 56, we're totally going home with 56. Yeah. No, this is fine. We're definitely coming home with 56. But it would have been funny, though. If it's just like, oh, by the way, on your way back up here, the moon is going to give you a gravity assist to deep space. You're welcome. Let's time warp to this point. And I'm very confident that we're going home now. So what I can do now, I suppose, is time accelerate until we're down about pretty much periaps. Yeah, pretty much periaps is about right here. This is fine. We'll face. We're going to burn the rest of this fuel off. Right now, we'll just burn the rest of this fuel off. There we go. And let's go ahead and eject. And we're totally going home right now. So, again, we want to face orbital retrograde. We have how much ablator? I brought 0.8 tons of ablator. That's about, what, 40% or so of a full 2 tons. So that's fine. And of course, we are now in the atmosphere, so we should start seeing our apoapsis be adjusted even further. There it is. Yeah, it's going to start coming down here, hopefully. Yep, there it goes. And even if we do end up going back to space after this little trip here, even if that happens, and I don't think it will, we have solar panels on this, so we're not going to run out of power. Everything will be a-okay. All right, so time accelerate a little bit more here. We should start seeing the heat. Yeah, it's starting to hit our ablator right now. That's good. And we're actually starting to climb up again, so we'll probably do one more trip. Kind of bouncing off the atmosphere just a little bit here. I got a little timid with my re-entry. I didn't need to be quite so timid. but it's okay. I'd rather be timid than way too bold. So we'll just go around again. So warp to this point. And the debris that we just got rid of, that's also in the atmosphere. So it's eventually going to come down. It's not like this one, which is stuck in space forever. This one will eventually come down, just the same as we are. As long as your periapsis is in the atmosphere, you're coming back home. Sooner or later, you're coming back home. So that's your rule of thumb right there. You can stick to it. Is in this game, if you have enough delta V to get your periapsis below 70k in any capacity, eventually you will come back to Kerbin. You will land. It might be violent, but you will land. All right, here we go. And I'm just going to let it go around like this until something excellent happens. You know, something amazing, I guess. We'll see. Ooh, you can see inside there. I want cockpit views. They don't have that in the game yet, I don't think. But I'd love to have a cockpit view. This looks pretty cool. They're all just hanging out in there. There you go. Yeah. I love it. How's our blader doing? I think I brought enough. Yeah, for many trips back through, I think I brought enough. I think I brought enough of a blader to probably land through Eve a couple of times. So, all right. If it's not this pass, then it's absolutely the next pass. But I ended up going around Kerbin about 5 times. I didn't think I was that timid, but apparently I'm just a timid guy when it comes to re-entry there. Also, in case you're curious, the other stage that we just got rid of that was in the atmosphere, it's apparently burnt up because it's not being tracked anymore. It's gone. So, yep, deorbited. No space debris there. No junk like this guy. We'll have to do something about that later. And I think this is the trip where we go home. If it's not, like I said, then it's definitely the next one because our apoapsis is now below 500,000 meters. And I've been trimming like 300 to 400,000 off of this thing every trip. And I feel like since there's not even that much left anymore, we'll definitely see it. And you know what? This is actually coming down pretty fast now. So I'm thinking this is actually the trip. Yeah, I'm thinking we're coming home right here. It's very close. Man, oh man, we might need one more. I think we need one more trip. Yep. One more pass. It's not coming down quite fast enough for me. Yep, there we go. Apoapsis is now under 200,000. But we're rising. We're on our way out of space. But look at our periaps now. So we're definitely coming in back next trip. All right, back into space. So let's go ahead and just zoom ourselves to this point here. And let's go home. And based on the angles on everything, I'd say we're landing in the daytime, yeah? I'd say we're definitely coming back home in the daytime. Why don't we go ahead and arm our drogue chutes. So we're going to arm them this time. And I don't really have settings, but it just says safety is safe. I'm hoping that means it's not going to try to do it now, but rather just do it whenever it is safe is what I'm hoping that it does. Okay, final approach. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Buckle your seatbelts. Please return your chair to its upright position and stow your tray tables. Keep your feet out of the aisle. Anything else that the drivers say to passengers? I don't know. Like, that was always a big thing when I was in school. Like, I rode the bus. I rode the bus until my senior year where I had a car and then I could drive myself. But all the way up to my senior year, I rode the bus to school. And for some reason, drivers just hated having kids with their feet in the aisle. Like, why is feet in the aisle such a big deal? I get that it's probably like a safety issue, right? With, you know, if you get in an accident. I understand that, but you're also not making us buckle up either. You got kids that are slouching in their seats. You got people that are basically laying down. You got kids standing up, which that was frowned upon too, to be fair. But, I mean, there are worse things in the world than having your feet in the aisle. I suppose maybe it has something to do with, like, you know, kids having to walk past you to get off the bus. That's probably what it was. I'm just trying to make conversation while we fall. I was kind of hoping that we would land on land and not in the water, because we've already done water biomes. Wow, you know, we were so controlled there that I didn't see any reheating effects at all. That's pretty cool. So, rock on. No heating effects whatsoever. Very cool. Let's just arm the other chutes. Yeah, we're coming down to the water, so we'll just arm the other chutes. We have 3 of them. They're radially mounted this time. And they should all deploy when it's appropriate to do so. There we go. It's going to be another water landing. With the amount of surface area that is water, though, I mean, unless you're trying to be precise with it, which we didn't have the fuel to do, chances are you're going to do a water landing. 8.4 meters per second is definitely good enough for the heat shield. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We've a successful mission. We, in one single flight, brought 2 probes to the moon, rescued Jeb, went to MINMUS, landed in a precise location on MINMUS to achieve the objective, dropped off a probe there, and came back and landed successfully. I'd say y'all deserve a drink. And me too. I'd say I deserve a drink. So we have all these things. Vessels destroyed. This is stuff from like testing area. Like you can see the timestamps on these. These are way in the past. Well, I guess that doesn't really tell you anything, does it? This is 8 o'clock last night. And then it's 5 o'clock today. I don't know. Is this local time. Interesting. I was doing this around 8 o'clock last night too. So this is just a coincidence then, I guess. Because this is 1700. It's currently 4 p.m. for me. So that's not correct. So it has to be in the game, and that's the in-game time. So, okay, cool. Well, anyway, mission time was a success. Other than all the stuff that happened before, we're all good. That vessel being destroyed, pretty sure that's the debris, right? The extra stage that we just deorbited. So very cool. Go back to the KSC. We now have 2,589 science, guys. And whoo boy, we could do some stuff with that, right? Atmospheric science is on the table to get us even more science. We're going to Duna. We're going to need something to measure its atmosphere, I'm assuming. I like the idea of having tiny and large docking ports. Enhanced coupling seems attractive to me too. Let's grab the science. I want to make sure we always are having as many science experiments as possible for us. As far as going to Duna, though, you know, I mean, having bigger tanks, having the main cell engine would be huge, actually. Let's go ahead and grab that. Nuclear propulsion is really good. Has a very high specific impulse in a vacuum at 900. And then we get special hydrogen fuel tanks that go with the Nerve engine. It doesn't just take, you know, in Kerbal Space Program 1, it's liquid fuel and oxygen. And the Nerve would just take liquid fuel. It's very vague. So in this game, we have Methalox, which is methane, liquid fuel, and oxygen. Methalox, right? But the nuclear engines actually take a different fuel type. So you can't just mix and match them anymore. Which is interesting. And we should probably do that just for the sake of getting there. It's 650 science, though. Is that how we want to spend it? I think basic docking should be grabbed. make sure we do that. Monopropellant drive could be interesting. Tiny engines feels more interesting, though. I'd really like to get the Spark. Being able to build really small probes and kick them out from, like, storage and stuff, right? Like cargo bays and stuff should be cool. Heavy rocketry is cool. The Rhino is a good engine. I'm looking for the Mammoth. There it is. So there's the Mammoth. I use Mammoth all the time. I'm not familiar with these engines. These might be new, or I don't know what these are. I'm not familiar with those ones. Heavy nuclear propulsion is here too. That's the Swerve, a bigger nuclear engine. Cool. So I want to get to radiation science too. I want to see if I can get to these, but these are very expensive. So we definitely have to go to Duna if we're going to get these things. So I think we get nuclear propulsion. Let's open ourselves up with the possibility, at least, of getting nuclear engines. And, like, this is okay, but I'm not really sure I'm going to get into Xenon right now. Modular launchers. I do like the Clydesdale. Only because of the name. The Vector engine's pretty cool. It's very expensive. I'd have to use my remaining science on that. Let's see what we can do with the parts we have. And, I mean, I could just clear tier 1, I suppose. It'd be like 150 science to clear that. And it would give... I wouldn't be able to do this then. So why don't we just see where we can go with the parts that we have. And we'll plan the next mission around these secondary objectives so we can get these things cleared off. And it might be good to start thinking about planes. Now that I have atmospheric science, we could look at possibly doing planes. But that, guys, is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. I hope you guys enjoyed that mission. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.